What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the Collective Clips, where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on also, that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate it, man. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. And for that, I'm very humbled. Now guess what? We have another banger for you. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome back to the Collective Clips, and yes, indeedy, I wrote graffiti on the bus. I got a story for you guys today. A real one, right? A funny one, but at the same time, in the meantime, in between time, it's a respectful one. Because what I've always known and what I've always learned in prison is keep your fucking eyes open, watch everything that's going on, and never underestimate the other guy's greed. You never underestimate anybody, okay? The key word here is respect, and you respect everyone. Doesn't matter how fat they are, skinny, stinky, stupid. Age does factor into the equation. There's a lot of different things that a lot of different rules and regulations you must follow that are unspoken, and you should know better. As a human being, as a person, you got to conduct yourself a certain way. You got to treat others like you want to be treated. Sometimes treat others a little bit better. It just works out better for you that way. If you don't want to get whacked in prison, if you don't want to have troubles and problems and get removed and be on the other side and sit in the middle of the fucking yard and play Dungeons and Dragons with the weirdos, the best thing for you to do is to pay attention to those around you and respect their program. Because everybody has a program going on. I'm going to tell you a couple stories about some viejitos, some old men, right, that people took lightly. You don't never take anyone lightly. Like Jake Paul taking Mike Tyson lightly, boom, it can be over that fast. You don't take anybody lightly, especially behind them walls in the California prison system, because right there, there's a lot of dangerous individuals that have been doing this way before you were born. You know, you hear a lot of the youngsters nowadays say old heads. They don't respect the old heads. Now, it went from OGs to old heads now. Where that transition happened somewhere along the line, I think it happened around the same time Caitlyn was doing his thing. I don't understand, but at the same time, in the meantime, in between time, here's some knowledge you can't get in college. Here's a couple stories about some OGs you most definitely should have never messed with, right? So I was on the live last night and the question got raised. Gun, what happens to old people in prison? You know, do old people get left alone? You know, and for the most part, absolutely. If you're part of a group or organization, you're always going to be asked to rock. But there are times, very few limited times, that an old man is given the pass. Like, hey, OG, I got this, homes, don't trip. Most youngsters that have heart and have a good head on their shoulders understand that, hey, if they're subtle with an OG, respect his gangster, respect his old ways, homes. Don't try to push up on them and disrespect them and do, you know, some scandalous, dirty shit, man, because that's rather unbecoming. And at the end of the day, homes, there's going to be a lot of homeboys that respect the old-time views of things. You got to understand, convicts were established way before my time and your time, and there's a lot of these guys that have been doing time for a long time. Now, I've had the privilege, and I say privilege, of being subbed up with some OGs, and they gave me a lot of clecha, a lot of game, a lot of knowledge you couldn't get in college, right? And I knew from their stories and what they had going on, these were some real gangsters. This is what gangster truly was, with the capital G, no MC8, the G ain't in you. These guys had the G in them. They told me about the old ways, the old struggle, the old strive, the guerra, the wars that they fought. A lot of them had battle wounds and battle scars. The OGs I was around were certified gangsters, real dudes, right? Well, here's one about a certified wood gangster named Chet. And I told this story in my live. If you weren't there, I'm going to retell it for the people that weren't there, right? So trip out. This OG white guy, man, he was a wood brother, loved his coffee, right? But what he loved even more than coffee was playing pinochle. Now, everybody in prison has coffee on deck. When I say the Woods love coffee, everybody loves coffee. You're going to see every vato walking around that yarda with the vaso. They're all having their mugs. Some of them are real nicely decorated. Some of them are just fucking thrown back, old school, chipped up. Vato has a fucking scar on his lip from drinking out of that same old mug, but you can't wrestle a convict for his mug. They're always gonna have that same old school mug that's black inside. It's marination. It's been marinating in there, right? Clean your cup out. I used to tell my cellie. He used to be like, no, that gives it a different kick, right? I said, you ain't Willy Wonka, Holmes. That shit is not a chocolate factory. That's not chocolate in there. Oh, it is though, right? Whatever. So if you recall a song called Northside Soldier that Gold Toast produced on the 17 Reasons album, he's even talking about walking around Pelican Bay Yard, you know, drinking coffee with the OGs, getting clecha from the OGs, right? Twisting up a rollie with his mug of coffee, getting clecha from the OGs. Everybody respects it because they're the ones that fought that good fight before you ever knew what a fight was, period. So anyways, Chet's kicking back. And his thing was he liked to chill in the day room or even on the yard and play pinochle. Now, pinochle is synonymous with prison. There's some games that you just play, seems like only in prison, and pinochle's one of them. Pinochle handball. That's how you know a motherfucker that's been around. He'll be like, you can't shoot no knuckle. You already know. I'll also be like, yeah, no, I got knuckles. Nah, I ain't saying that type of knuckle, stupid. We're talking about pinochle. And it seems like the Woods shoot that shit at a very high level. So this old man used to kick back on the yard and in the day room playing pinochle. He was the pinochle king. Anybody that sat down on his table, he was going to run him. He was going to run him something furious. And people like to G. And G is betting, gambling. So there are those old school veteranos that would sit around the table, play pinochle all day for pennies. That's just their pastime. So what they do, leave them alone. Vatos are doing life. They've been in prison forever. That's their joy in life. Drinking a big old mug of steaming hot Joe and playing some Sleepy Joe, right? They're doing their thing. So this guy, Chet, didn't bother anyone. And I guess he had already graduated to the point, he was about 71, 72 years old. Old school. But he was all there in his mind and he was all there in his fucking frame. You know, these guys don't lose their size. They might lose their size, but they don't lose that cut. This vato was cut up like Bruce Lee. Skinny old man, just playing cards, leaving everyone alone. When tension did hit, I've seen him participate a couple times. And a few little fucking zoos and wham-whams. But for the most part, man, he was left alone and he was respected because he was in there doing a life beef, life without the possibility of parole for murking his old lady because he caught her fucking the practitioner. It was all bad. She went for an adjustment and he gave her the ring dinger, right? So that was that. So meanwhile, while his old lady's over there giving the ring ding, he's at his construction job with boots on pouring concrete with the paisas and he gets highly upset. Comes home one day, finds out that she got ring-ding-a-linged, and he adjusts her spine one time for her mind with 2 shots to the head. How that worked, I don't know. That was his story. So anyways, he's doing life without the possibility of parole, and here he is sitting down playing pinochle with a whole bunch of professional pinochle players, and some youngsters come into the building, right? Now, these youngsters are young Woods, big old chests, swastikas everywhere. You know, the type of vatos that fucking were listening to Mac Dre and X-Rated on the streets, but get locked up and all of a sudden, right? Sieg Heil, all of a sudden, these vatos fucking read Mein Kampf, and all of a sudden they know what's going on with the whole history of Hitler, right? But for the most part, these guys are fronting. Not saying all the Woods do that. There's a lot of good, righteous, solid Woods, man, that are about their people in the race. But this fucking particular youngster and his sidekick were the type that fucking were playing that role. They were going to get right back out to bumping the Beastie Boys, right? So anyways, this vato comes in, chest all out. Oh yeah, he's going to be an issue and a problem. Not for us, because the Mexicans rock different, right? We'll put metal in them. But for his own people, you could tell he had a little swag and a little chip on his shoulder, and he just liked to play a lot. Now, one thing about the Woods in prison that I've always said, and any Wood will tell you, they like to horseplay just a little bit. They like to play with each other. Come here, brother. Come here, brother, right? That's their thing. What you gonna do, right? They like to get their little horseplay on, but when it comes crunch time and time to really wiggle, the motherfuckers pull out Conan the Barbarian swords. They're just with the program all the way. You know, for people that disrespect the Woods because they're the minority group in the prison right next to the Northerners, I would say this, don't sleep on the wood pile because they will burn you up. You know, you're going to need Smokey the Bear in a real way. Because once the Woods get to going, they don't stop. That's just it. They're just like anyone else, a very militant, structured group that handle their business. They just got different regulations and rules that you wouldn't understand. So meanwhile, Chet's over there fucking playing pinochle. This young Wood comes in and he immediately starts targeting vulnerable people, you know, seeing young, skinny white cats that really weren't with the program. Hey, bro, go give me a shot of coffee. Hurry up, right? And they're like, all right, Big Wood, right? They're going because he's a big boy. He's a youngster. He'll probably put fucking paws on them. So they're going to do that. So meanwhile, Chet's seeing this from a distance, but he knows what's up. He's an OG. This ain't nothing new to him. And this youngster starts to befriend Chet, starts to learn how to play pinochle. He likes to kick it at that table with the OGs, right? Which is cool. That's what you're supposed to do. As a youngster, get a grasp on who's going to give you game and who isn't. If you're hanging around with the riffraff and the knuckleheads, guess what you're going to get? Knuckles on your heads, specifically from a northerner or a southerner. It's the way it goes down, or a brother. So this Vaulto's learning the pinochle game and kicking it with Chet. And he starts to ask for shots of coffee. Of course, Chet's a very giving person. Being an OG, he's been around. He understands there's people in there with nothing, nada. And when these old school convicts have been doing time for so long, these Vaultos got 2 TVs, 2 fucking radios, 6 pairs of CL20s, 9 pairs of shoes. They got everything. When the cops raid their cell, that's the only cells that they never take anything out of because they respect the lifers and the old timers, and they just leave them alone and let them have their property. That's all the fucker gots in the world, right? His old lady fucking is gone. He murked her, right? His sister-in-law probably took all his sofa, his dog, his cat, everything. Leave the white man alone. Let him just live. So anyways, this Vaulto always has hella jars of coffee, right? Hella. And this youngster knows that, so he starts keying in on the coffee, and the coffee game is real, right? Hey, Chet, can I get another shot, brother? And Chet would usually take a whole jar of Folgers out to the day room and just give scoops to people he fucked with, all the woods. So they would just put the cup out. Hey, old man Chet, hey, hook it up, brother, right? So boom, 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 he'd hit him with coffee. So this youngster's doing it. Well, everybody has a bad day in prison. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, where you just wake up and it's fuck the world. They say, today, the first person to talk to me, I'm socking in his mouth. You ever been like that? I've been like that. Where it's just you roll over, you look at your cell, and you're like, bro, I just want to choke you right now. About the, not on no P. Diddy Meek Mill shit, but on some real shit, right? I just want to choke the hell out of you. And the homeboy, just the night before, you guys were telling war stories, it was all good in the hood. But today, your caca stinks worse. It's intensified. You're breathing my air. I'm in prison doing 2 years. I can't take it, right? That's how you feel at that point. Well, Chet was in one of them moods, you know? And this dude liked to play. He was getting a little too playful, the big dude with Chet, right? Come on, OG, show me what you're about. You ain't got them hands. You lost that shit, you know? Well, let me tell you, Chet looked just like Chuck Norris, right? Might have been Chuck, for all I know, flying under a different radar, right? But he looked like a skinny, gray-haired Chuck Norris that didn't fuck around. All you have to do is look into a man's eyes and you can see something behind those eyes. Look into my eyes. Tell me what you see. That's all you had to do with that dude, right? But this guy, this youngster, just didn't know better. Just wanted to test the waters and learn. So anyways, he caught Chet in that bad mood, and Chet's chilling, and he's like, hey, OG, let me get some coffee. And Chet's like, don't you got your own fucking coffee? Right? And that kid was like, oh, shit. Hey, bro, don't be disrespecting me in front of everyone. You're making me look like a poop butt, right? And Chet was like, I don't give a fuck what you look like, bro. Get the hell away from me. I'm tired of supplying all you guys with coffee. I'm tired of you broke dick ass motherfuckers coming here. Hey, getting new tattoos every day, bro. Slamming heroin on the yard. But you motherfuckers are begging me for coffee. Get away from me, bro. And so that youngster felt disrespected. So he's like, okay, all right, I'm just going to take your shit. And so he walks by Chet's cell, sees that the cell's open, goes in there, and Chet has a gang of property. Sees that Chet has fucking a nice jar of Folgers right there. That motherfucker's going, get me. Right? So he snatches the jar of coffee. Disrespectful. First of all, you went in another man's pad. You don't do that in prison. You don't even look into another man's cell. Okay, when you walk by, don't even look. That's rule 101, right? And you definitely don't go in that man's cell because now you got to deal with him as well as his cellie, and they're going to feel some type of way. That's one of the most disrespectful things you could do besides stealing and telling on someone is fucking going in their cell and taking some property that isn't yours. Just stay the fuck out, right? But that guy thought, hey, fuck this dude. He was trying to bait Chet into a fight. An old man, Holmes. A 72-year-old man. And so Chet comes out to the day room, you know, the next day. Chet's like, where's my fucking coffee? Right? This ain't the youth authority. You can't throw a fuck in a reject, right? This is serious, man. Especially if another race or ethnicity steals your coffee, then the yard's going down. But in this case, he kind of knew who it was. And this youngster didn't crack the coffee, didn't take scoopfuls out. He was basically just playing with Chet, like showing him, hey, bro, you disrespect me, I'll take all your shit, right? Shouldn't have did that. Survey says, ding. Even Steve Harvey's big potato head could see this coming, right? something's going down. So Chet tells him, hey, did you take my coffee? And he says, yeah, I took your coffee. What, bro? I'll go in there and take everything you and your celly got. What's up with you, right? Chet jumped up. Come on now, motherfucker. Let's get it on. And the youngster said, nah, bro. Hey, we go in there. You come up in my cell, bro, and I'll beat your old ass. And then I'll go in there and take everything you have, right? And that old man said, fuck the cell, bro. And when he said that, the whole day room turned. We were on the other side, but we could hear him arguing. We looked, and he said, fuck the day room. Or he said, fuck your cell. We could do this in the day room. Now, all the woods, there was a big wood shot caller, man, that jumped up, and he was like, hey, brothers. He sounded like the Macho Man. Oh, yeah, look at this is what we're going to do. Dig it, right? We're going to shut the fuck up because you guys are ruining my high, right? Chet wasn't trying to hear all that. Remember, he's an old school convict. He said, come on, motherfucker, you want it? Let's get it. That old man literally did the 1920 Popeye versus Bluto, right? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, just like in the motherfucking show Popeye, Bluto always loses. Bluto or whatever his name is, this Vato hit him like olive oil. Chet hit him with a two-piece. Boom, boom. Done. Over. Black eyes immediately, tooth dangling. You know what I'm saying? That Vato slithered away like the Grinch. The cops didn't even do anything. They seen the shit, laughed, and turned away like, well, here's some knowledge you can't get in college. Okay, fucking, the white dude was, his feelings were hurt. His homeboy was shaking his head. They laughed about it. That's how the woods do it. Northerners, somebody would have got whacked. They would have been red on red. Southsiders would have been like, fuck that, that's it, you know. Blacks, you know, they probably would have just got to stomping and went in and took all his shit because they seen an opportunity, right? Others wouldn't have paid attention, nor the natives. But the woods just laughed at him like, yeah, get your young ass up. That's what you get. What he didn't know about Chet, what I didn't know about Chet, what I found out later was Chet used to be a Golden Gloves boxer and a boxer in the Navy back in the days. Never judge a book by its cover because they're an old man in prison. Never disrespect these OGs that have been around the block with the Glock, right? You think automatically, oh, there's some suckers, some punk because they're old, bro. They ain't forgot. It's like riding a bike, homie. Old men got them withered ass hands. Witherspoon ass hands. Well, every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. Did you see that look in his eye? He was serious about that shit, Ice Cube. That motherfucker right there, bro. You eating up all the hog maw. Right now, fuck that. I would have said, I'm out of here. And got on because that old man was about to whip his ass. Old men don't play. Let me tell you one other situation, man, since we're here. There was an OG, right, that worked in the kitchen. Now, this OG, we were out of state. We were in Washington State doing time. This old man right here, his name was Popeye. That's what he did. His fucking dentures were always falling out when he had them in, right? And I was hella cool with this guy, man. Hey, he used to steal all the zoos and wham-whams, man. He'd always go in the back, get all the eggs. Me and him would crack them, throw them in a big pitcher, slam those motherfucking eggs and do push-ups. Yes, I knew, but others didn't know. This old man could get it. His routine now was vicious, bro. He wasn't the one to play, but he walked off funny. Right? Just looked like a tweaker from hell. He looked like that dude, the clown from, are you scared of, are you scared of clowns from fucking House of a Thousand Corpses? Remember that one? The clown? Dead on, but with the mouth like this. Right? He just did that. He was like he was trying to suck his fucking gums out. This Volta was like, hey, this black dude comes in there, right? Now, here's what I forgot to tell you about the situation. He was a black guy. Yes, he looked like the clown, but he was black, right? OG old man gave me a lot of good game. Was the one that told, one of the ones that told me he hated the N-word. Well, there was a young black kid in there. He was a blood, right? He used to, you know, say the N-word quite extensively. That just was his thing. Cool, to each their own, man. And every time that OG Popeye would be like, I hate when these motherfuckers say that, right? And he was like, you know, I'm going to teach him a lesson one day. Let me tell you, that set off, he laid a demo down. He set a precedent. He beat this youngster from top to bottom. Big Top Pee-wee. He fucked him up, bro. Large Marge. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, I ain't never seen a brother get down like that. I was like, oh, that brother right there is different. You know what I'm saying? Black power. That motherfucker was in that motherfucker like boom, 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 boom. The whole time doing this. You gonna respect from him, right? He was in there fucking him up, right? I'll say this, the blood never said the N-word again, right? And again, this was another fight where they got away with it. They went in the cuts and handled their business, right? Now, from that point on, you know, these other sangres came, other bloods came in, little youngsters, man, like, hey, bro, what you do to our homeboy? Boom, 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 boom. I did it like this, and I did it like that. Brother, I did it with the wiffle ball bat, right? He was fucking fools up. I'll never forget that OG, man. OGs have certain mentalities and ways of thinking. You don't disrespect them. Okay? There was an OG one more time, and his name was Frank. Damn, man. Rest in peace to Frank. We were kicking back in the day room. We were watching the 49er game. Everybody was watching it. One thing about in prison, the NFL holds weight, right? When you're watching the NFL games, everybody's got a ticket. Everybody's betting. You know, depending if you're from Northern, Southern California, Vato's got their favorites. Go Rams! Vato is not even a Rams fan, but he's from the Sur and he's representing. Same thing with the Norteños, right? Hey, go fucking Golden State Warriors. When they're watching the NBA, they don't even like them, right? They're a Lakers fan in the cuts. But we're watching the Niners game, and I forgot, it was years ago. I forgot who the Niners were playing. This is when the Niners weren't that good. I think they had Elvis Gerbach or Jeff Garcia, somebody, right? But this old man, he had been down 52 years. Facts. He was in a wheelchair. He was old. He had a beanie on the back of his head like Wes Watson. You know, one that just stood there like Adebisi from fucking Oz, right? And this old man with this big old guy, he looked like a fucking straight mafioso from the Italian mob, right? He would just sit there and he would be quiet and he'd watch it. And the Niners scored. And literally, this dude was respected, man. Hey, people would bring him coffee, bring him food. He always went into his cell with a whole bunch of salt bars and shit. I was like, that Vato can't even eat that shit no more. The sodium would kill him right there. This Vato's sitting down. We're watching in the day room. We're like, yeah. The Niners score, right? I watched this old man, and everyone was like, no, with slow motion. This Vato got up. He goes, go Niners! And fell back and died. Straight up. Straight up. It's not a laughing matter. It's the truth. Vato fell. Bop. That was it. His last word was, go Niners! Boom. Dead. They came, gurneyed him up, locked us down. Man, Vatos were mad because we missed the rest of the Niner game. Then they brought us back out on Next Line Movement. True story. Shit happens. Anyways, with that being said, never underestimate the OGs, man. Never sleep on them. Especially the ones that are from an old school water. They can give you a lot of clecha, a lot of game, homes. And just because times change, don't disrespect these OGs. Like, hey, old head, you ain't about that shit. Shit. Fuck with them one time. Can you pull a trigger? So can they. Guess what? In most cases, they'll do it faster. Don't sleep on it. With that being said, I hope that you moose move with a purpose. Get every single thing that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the strive to struggle, the struggle to strive. I tell you these stories not to glorify. I was about to say glorify. You already know, bro. I'm going to make me some grilled cheese right now. I'm going to fry it up. To glorify prison living, it's only to tell you the real and clecha you up. For those of you that do want to live a life of crime and are going to get incarcerated, facts, right? Leave them OGs alone, bro, before they put hands on you and humiliate you. Then you're walking around like that big old youngster. Hey, for you, that was a lucky punch. That was a lucky punch. He fights like he plays pinochle. He's pretty good, right? That was it. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I do every day, man. That's drop dope content for you. Some of the most entertaining on YouTube that I could provide, man. And I appreciate the fact that you're sitting here watching it. Thank you guys so much. This is The Gun. Bang, bang.